earlier parts of the game and you want to actually be able to creep, a slaughterhouse is a very good idea. So yeah, you'll see both players they still haven't started their tier 3 tech. I'm wanting to say like you tend to start your tier 3 tech around 40 supply or so, but we'll see how the pros do it. Neither player is opting for a second hero at this point either. Well, in the late game, multiple heroes are very, very good in Undead Mirror. It's usually better to get basically as many levels on your Lich as you can before you're kind of forced to build a second hero. Really, if your Lich is like taking a whole lot of damage and you keep having to buy healing potions and stuff to keep him alive, like i.e. your opponent's strategy totally revolves around screwing your Lich over, yeah, just get a Death Knight and get it over with. But if you can get away with it, absolutely stick around with just your solo Lich and see how high you can creep that guy up. Because basically, Nova completely owns this matchup, and let me talk a little bit about why. One is the obvious fact that you can't nuke with Death Coil, of course, because your opponent's stuff is undead. The other thing is, I would say Nova is probably, since both players are going to go for Gargs, Nova is probably the best anti-air spell in the game. All things considered. It's got a slow effect in terms of their movement. It also slows their attack rate. It has no damage cap whatsoever, so basically whatever units it hits, it hits. It's not like Carrion Swarm or things like that where it's capped to either, a certain max damage that it can do or capped to a number of units. There's a whole bunch of different rules that they put trying to balance out the area of effect spells, which used to be way too powerful. But I guess they never felt the need to nerf Carrion or nerf Frost Nova in that way. So yeah, basically, this match does kind of tend to revolve around Novas. In fact, a lot of the strategies like, heal scrolls, those are pretty much there to heal off the damage from Nova. If you go for a Dreadlord, he's pretty much there to sleep your opponent's Lich so that your opponent can't Nova as much. There's other tricks like sleeping his Death Knight while you kill one of his heroes, but we'll get into that later. Both players are just creeping at this point still. That's why I've just been kind of talking about random crap, because creeping is not very interesting to watch, as I'm sure you all have realized by this point. But basically, Sweet is trying to race to level 5. Fav kind of gets almost there, but he decides, heck, I'm right here in my opponent's base. I'm just going to try and go screw his acolytes over. What he's hoping here is that he's actually going to force Sweet to Town Portal here. What he's hoping is that he's going to be able to just kind of fight, have an equal battle, and then sort of get away. Sweet, however, they both have heal scrolls. One's got level 3 Nova, one's got level 2. Heal scroll timing, generally just like a couple of seconds after you see your opponent pop off his first Nova, that's when you want to heal scroll. Because at that point, all of your Gargs will have taken likely the 150 damage that the heal scroll will heal off. And, at that point, they're also about to start dying from just the attack of your enemy Gargs. So heal scroll timing is probably, especially when it's just Lich versus Lich, heal scroll timing is probably the most important and the trickiest thing to learn. I'd say like usually when ghouls are involved, I've noticed people tend to heal scroll a little bit too early. I suspect that may be the case with gargoyles. You don't want to pop a heal scroll just to save like 1 or 2 units. You want to be popping a heal scroll to save like 10. if you get my drift. By the way, the reason Fav lost that, they were absolutely like the same level. They had like roughly the same number of Gargs, but Sweet had higher level Nova, and I think that pretty much swayed the battle there. In the case of Garg versus Garg, once you have more than about 8 or 10, and especially when there's like high-level Novas and such involved, you pretty much want to let your Gargs attack move. You can maybe focus fire the first few. However, whenever you focus with your Gargs, they all kind of clump together. I think Sweet spotted Fav's shade or something in the area, so he's popping dusts of appearance. Fav is being very careful here, and he's planning something extremely nasty. He just got really screwed in that battle, if you were watching it and ignoring me. And so he basically needs to pull some trick shit if he's going to come back in this game, because Sweet had like 7 Gargs left and Fav had lost all of his. Sweet also grabbed him a Death Knight. Yeah, once your Lich hits 5, it's time to get a second hero, and I think if you don't, you're probably making a pretty big mistake. But watch what Fav is doing here. This kind of move can really turn an Undead Mirror match over fast. He's going to Nova kill most of the Acolytes, and he's also going to kaboom with his with a Goblin Sapper. He actually takes out 2 Ziggurats. That's right. Kaboom actually kills Ziggurats in 1 hit, and if you can carefully negotiate the Goblin Sapper in between the Ziggurats, you can actually kill 2 at the same time. And let's take a look at, after a very decisive win in the Garg vs. Garg battle. Let's take a look at Sweet's situation here and how very, very nearly totally screwed he is. He managed to get a Ziggurat building with his last Acolyte, like right before it died. But he's 10 supply down, so he lost all his Acolytes, so he cannot rebuild them. If he hadn't got that 1 Ziggurat coming, he wouldn't have had any Acolytes to build Ziggurats, and he would have had to kill off 10 supply of his units just to be able to start rebuilding anything. And he would have been absolutely screwed at that point. So it was a very good move by Sweet to pop out that Ziggurat at that point in time. And actually, Fav with that one nasty little trick, has kind of managed to turn this game around. Sweet sees that Fav has gone for Fiends, which is typically what you want to do. If you lose a Garg battle, but you have like other stuff going for you, like you've managed to get a little bit more resource or stuff like that, or you've killed off quite a few of your opponent's Acolytes, it's a good idea to go ahead and switch to Fiends, because if you go Gargs, basically, they have more Gargs to start out with you, so you're never going to catch up. Every Garg versus Garg fight that you get into, he's probably going to have more Gargs than you, and you're going to keep getting beaten down. Fiends, on the other hand, like, at least it's different. There's factors other than just sheer Garg volume that have more effect on a Fiend mirror fight, or on a Fiend versus Garg fight, like how many ghouls your opponent has, things like that. What Fav's goal in this fight here is just to take down. He kind of piddles around a little bit, but his main goal here is just to take down that Nerubian tower that's building. Why? Because he wants to screw over Sweet's resource again, because he knows that he took out those 2 Ziggurats, and in fact, if you look at Sweet, if once Fav does manage to take this thing out, it's going to be even longer before he manages to build anything. So Fav's just going to kind of blow that up in TP. Meanwhile, Sweet's going to try and kill whatever of Fav's army that he can, and in fact does. I think, honestly, I feel like Fav stuck around maybe for a little bit too long. I think he ends up losing a couple of Fiends that he doesn't need to here. But he did manage to, I think, kill some extra Gargs and things like that. So, whatever. Don't sweat the small stuff. Okay. Now, here's the situation here. Sweet's kind of managed to catch back up, and he did manage to kill